Okay, first question.
Awesome.
Who do you think is going to take care of you when you get old?
I would say probably my grandkids, but considering my current dating life, that's unlikely.
I've never really thought it through, to be honest.
Nurses, but in my own house.
Perhaps a network of neighbors that we can all get together and rely on each other.
I don't know.
Canada's in the middle of a historic shift. There are fewer young people than ever as our aging population skyrockets. Soon, we'll all be old. It's not something we really think about, and that's a problem. That's why we need to start talking about aging, fast. If you look around the world, you'll see cultures where caring for aging loved ones is normal. Older adults are seen as an important part of society, never to be tossed aside. Even here in Canada, there are many families with this inclusive view of aging. But that's not the case for most Canadians. Why? Do we not care about our elders?
It's not that Canadians don't care. We do care. It's just that the system that's been built sends people away when they need help, instead of building that infrastructure and that support in the community so people can stay home and care for their loved one.
This is Stephanie Erickson. She's a social worker who's dedicated her life to assisting caregivers and their loved ones.
I am terrified to get old. As a society, we don't want to talk about aging. It's way too scary. So we avoid every conversation about it, and we just let the professionals provide the care. Out of sight, out of mind. The thing is that even if we wanted to provide care at home with our work demands, our family demands, our economic pressures, there's not enough community resources to sustain us and enable us to care for people at home.
Just a few decades ago, Canada had more in common with care-centric cultures. Families cared for aging loved ones until they passed. Care was expected, unavoidable. But the country advanced, and so did the quality of life. Convenience and ease became the norm. Takeout meals, microwaves. These advances came simultaneously with advances in medicine and social programs that caused our elderly to live longer than ever before.
Once Canadians started to live longer and there was more financial pressure, a lot of families had to become double income earners. And then it became impractical and basically impossible financially for someone to stay at home and care for a loved one.
Along with a new perspective, Canada had a whole new demographic. Why shouldn't taking care of them be as easy and convenient as the rest of life had become? The country wanted a modern solution. Enter the care home.
Care homes seem like the perfect option. Alternative housing with all the care and medical support you need.
Care homes provided the convenience that Canadians were looking for. We no longer had to plan for old age or worry about taking care of grandma or grandpa. But as our aging population boomed, there were less homes and more people, making it impossible for staff to keep up with residents' needs. With people living longer, medical requirements increased, stretching staff and reducing resources further. When COVID struck, our fix-it-and-forget-it attitude towards our elderly caught up to us.
I am not surprised at all that we lost so many seniors who were living in care homes when COVID hit. Those care homes were already lacking in resources and supplies and staff. And the staff that were there were already really overworked. And because of really poor salaries, they're forced to work from one location to the next. And so they're carrying the illnesses with them from one place to the next.
The way that it's set up right now, sort of separate from their communities and separate from their families, is just messed up.
Always been a put old people aside and not think of them angle in our culture, I find.
Something's gotta change, but I don't know what would change.
For too long, Canadian care was rooted in an "it's not my problem" approach. The COVID crisis laid this bare. Now, Canadians are realizing we have to make a change.
I'm encouraged. I feel hopeful because all this is happening under the watchful eyes of the country. Light has been shed on these problems, and I think there's going to be some big changes.
As Canada's advanced, we've gotten good at making things easy. But maybe some parts of life aren't supposed to be easy. Aging is difficult, and caring for an aging loved one's a burden. But it's a burden we all carry. We can lighten it by discussing the challenges of aging and learning from our neighbors. This series will aim to equip Canadians by exploring aging in different cultures. We'll look at healthcare systems, family systems, cultural norms and expectations, and the use of holistic care instead of a medically focused model. We'll get insight into what works and what doesn't, with the hope that Canadians can implement these techniques going forward, to learn from as we create our own culture of care. One not based on ease, but one that we can be proud of.